Kedoshim. In the Torah portion of Kedoshim, we learn about leaving the fruit of the tree for 3 years before harvesting it. We learn about the sin of sorcery. We learn about the commandment of not trimming the corners of a beard. We learn about the Shabbat and the temple. And finally, we learn about the mitzvah to keep all the commandments of the Lord. All of these things, from keeping the Shabbat and going to the temple, to not trimming the corners of your beard, have a connection to the Messiah. It says in Leviticus 19 verse 24, "But in the 4th year all its fruit shall be holy, an offering of praise to the Lord." It says in the Torah that by leaving the fruit tree and the vine unharvested for 3 years, the harvest will be increased. During the first 3 years, the owner left the crop unharvested. In the 4th year, the farmer would bring the fruit produced to the temple. In the 5th year, the owner could eat the fruit freely. The same rule applied to vines in a vineyard. The imagery of this commandment might have influenced what Yeshua said about the vine and the branches, as it says in John 15 verses 1 through 3, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away, and every branch that bears fruit, he prunes it, so that it may bear more fruit. You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you." The first 3 years during which the fruit isn't harvested corresponds to the first 3 years that Yeshua spent teaching his disciples. During this time, they were not yet ready to bear fruit. But after 3 years of Yeshua teaching them, Yeshua told them, "You are already clean because of the word which I have spoken to you." During those first 3 years, Yeshua walked with them, lived with them, spoke with them, and taught them. In John 15, in the 3rd year, the time had come for the disciples to produce fruit of their own. In the next year, the disciples had greatly increased in number in the temple courts, corresponding to the fruit of the 4th year, which was brought to the temple. Finally, the fruit of the 5th year could be compared to the gospel spreading from Yerushalayim to the whole world. As it says in Leviticus 19 verses 26 and 31, "You shall not eat anything with the blood, nor practice divination or soothsaying. Do not turn to mediums or spiritists. Do not seek them out to be defiled by them." Yeshua took a firm stand against witchcraft and the kingdom of Satan. He didn't tolerate anything demonic. His authority over the spiritual world could not be challenged. It says in Matthew 8 verse 16, "He cast out the spirits with a word." The sages of Yeshua's time accused him of practicing sorcery to cast out spirits. As it says in Matthew 9 verse 34, the Pharisees were saying, "He casts out the demons by the ruler of the demons." Yeshua refuted these accusations, stating that if casting out demons was black magic, then the Pharisees themselves, who actively practiced exorcism, would also be guilty of black magic. There was never any proof to back up the accusation, nor was this accusation brought against Yeshua in his trials before the court of Caiaphas. If there had been even a shred of evidence to confirm this accusation, it would have surely been brought as testimony against Yeshua. Yet it wasn't. Nevertheless, this accusation stayed with Yeshua, with writings even as late as the Talmudic period, having several veiled and some not so veiled passages insinuating that Yeshua performed miracles by means of sorcery, as it says in Sanhedrin 107b. "And a master has said, Jesus the Nazarene practiced magic and led Israel astray." Passages like this prove that the Jewish community didn't deny that Yeshua performed miracles, and in reality, Yeshua was the opposite of a sorcerer. Occultism attempts to manipulate the spiritual world through spirits. Yeshua commanded both the spiritual and physical world on behalf of God. He had no need to call on spirits to do his work. It says in Leviticus 19 verse 27, "You shall not round off the side growth of your heads, nor harm the edges of your beard." Like all Torah observant men in Yeshua's time, Yeshua had a beard and some form of peyot, side locks, in keeping with the commandment of refraining from trimming the sides of the head or the edge of the beard. In this passage, the corners of the head refers to the hairline near the ears, and the corners of the beard refers to the chin. These corners correspond to the corners of the field which can't be harvested, which have to be left for the poor. Isaiah 50 verse 6 prophesies about the beard of Messiah. I gave my back to those who strike me, and my cheeks to those who pluck out the beard. I did not cover my face from humiliation and spitting. The Torah groups observance of the Shabbat and reverence for the sanctuary together in Leviticus 19 verse 30. You shall keep my Shabbats and revere my sanctuary. I am the Lord. This juxtaposition is intentional. Both the Shabbat and the dwelling place of God created a holy, set-apart space within a certain medium. The Shabbat was a sanctuary in time, while the temple was a sanctuary within space. Yeshua honored the Shabbat, healing on it, teaching on it, and reading Torah on it. Yeshua honored the temple, going there daily whenever he was in Jerusalem, as he had done since the age of 12. When he saw that the temple was being misused for profit, he overturned the tables of money changers and merchants. When the Messiah comes, he will observe and reestablish Shabbat, and he will rebuild the holy sanctuary. The laws of holiness end with one final mitzvah in Leviticus 19 verse 37. You shall thus observe all my statutes and all my ordinances and do them. Yeshua kept all the statutes and ordinances of God as they applied to him. His perfect walk in the Torah created righteousness that God places on those who place faith in him. As Yeshua's disciples, we strive to walk in as perfect a path as he did, following the Torah as best as we know how. We share Yeshua's righteousness by identifying with him and following his path, for we are members of his body. Ephesians 5 verse 30. It says in 1 Corinthians 6 verses 15 through 17, do you not know that your bodies are members of Messiah? The one who joins himself to the Lord is one spirit with him. The disciples of Yeshua are holy ones because we are believers and followers of the Holy One. We bless God, the Holy One, 3 times every day with the following traditional blessing. You are holy, and your name is holy, and holy ones will praise you every day. Blessed are you, Lord, the Holy God. In Kedoshim, we learn about many things, from waiting for the 4th year before harvesting fruit, to the commandment about keeping all the commandments. It all points towards the Messiah.